Namaskar dosto. I'm your host Shipra Abraham and I welcome you to the 27th episode of Ask Our Experts. It's a YouTube live show organized by the National E-Governance Division, Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India. Today, we take you into the heart of India's startup revolution. And who better to guide us than the CEO of MeitY Startup Hub, Shri Pannirselvam Madan Gopal. I welcome you to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
MeitY Startup Hub is the very institution nurturing the next generation of tech innovators and entrepreneurs. From empowering deep tech startups to taking Indian ideas global, there's so much to explore today. So let's dive into the exciting world of innovation, opportunity and impact and hear how MSH is powering the India of tomorrow. So let's start with knowing the vision behind the MeitY Startup Hub and what was the purpose of setting it up?
First of all, thank you for having me, Ms. Shipra. MeitY Startup Hub started as a project management organization for all the startup related programs under MeitY. Today we have grown into a very, one of the fundamental organizations that drive all the activities of MeitY in the startup domain. And our primary purpose is to be the bridge between MeitY and the startup ecosystem. Right. That's the purpose that we are looking at. So our job is to nurture and build the startup ecosystem, especially the deep tech startup ecosystem in the country, given that that is going to be the future.
So, sir, you mentioned about deep tech startups. If you can detail a little more about what kind of startups does MSH looks at?
Great. So essentially, our primary purpose is to nurture as our Ministry of Electronics and IT. So electronics manufacturing, tech and deep tech. These are the primary focus areas of startups that we are working with. So electronics design and manufacturing startups are one of our key focus areas. Tech platforms, tech products are the next priority, and more importantly, deep tech products and deep tech solutions is what we are looking at. And deep tech includes a wide variety of startups, starting from AI, ML, IoT, blockchain, and all the emerging technologies that we are looking at today are our focus areas.
Right, sir. So, sir, while you told me the three main parts, the kind of startups that you're looking at, what do you look in a startup when you collaborate with them through MSH?
Well, so essentially what we are looking at from a startup is two or three key things. One is primarily they should be solving a real problem. Right, and when I say solve, a lot of times we start with the technology, but there isn't a product market fit. So we always look for saying, are they solving a real problem? That's the first question. Second, is there a market for that solution? Right, I think that is something all startups need to look at. That is there a market for my solution? And the third, but is the solution scalable and the solution and is it going to change and impact quality of life of our people? Because to my mind, any technology has to improve the quality of life of people, and that's what we are striving towards. So these are things that we look forward for in a startup.
Right. So, my dear friends, to summarize, Sir just mentioned about that if you are a deep tech startup or into electronics manufacturing or dealing with some tech products, then MSH is your place. Please share your ideas with MSH. Please write about your ideas. Our chat is open. You can put in your feedback, put in your questions with our sir in the YouTube chat, and we'll try to take up all your questions in this episode. So moving forward, let's talk about the kind of support that MSH provides to these startups. So in terms of funding, mentorship, infrastructure, what kind of support do we give?
Okay, so essentially our support revolves around 3 or 4 key areas, what I call 3 M's, which is primarily mentorship. The first and foremost support any startup requires is that of mentorship, technical mentorship, business mentorship, and more importantly, somebody who can anchor them and guide them through the entire journey is what we facilitate with. So mentorship support, we have a pool of about 450 plus mentors. We try to match them, we try to connect them, and we facilitate that support system. The second M is what I call the market access. I've always believed that customer is the best investor. And most importantly, it is important to teach a startup how to fish rather than keep giving them, fish. So we keep saying that market access is something which we are very keen on, finding them customers, finding them opportunities to work with, proof of concept with corporates, PSUs. So that's something that we are very, very focused upon. And we are also working on a concept called POCs to PO, which is proof of concept to purchase order. That is something that is going to be our flagship activity in the coming months. Essentially enabling startups to get work orders or purchase orders from corporates, PSUs, and of course also government entities. And the third M, which I talk about, is money. We have multiple schemes which we'll probably talk about it in a little bit more detail. Our money is a token of trust and validation that we put in our startups. It may not be large sums of money, but it's a very important appreciation as well as acknowledgement of MeitY being a funding agency to facilitate innovation in this technology space. And last but not the least, we take a lot of feedback from our startups. We work on the policy support side as well. We try to give them as much as possible in terms of stakeholder consultations, taking their inputs for policy support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for detailing it out. So guys, 3M is what we have to remember: mentorship, market access, and money to build your startup as a part of or with the support of MeitY Startup Hub. So if we talk about the numbers, how many startups have benefited till now through MeitY Startup Hub?
Okay, if we talk about numbers, we definitely have a significant chunk. When we say benefited, there are at least three types. One is we have a startup community, so we have plus 6,000 plus startups on our community. And each of these startups have been impacted or have been supported in one way or the other when it comes to MeitY Startup Hub. They have access to our mentorship platform, they have access to our resources platform, and also last but not the least, they have probably got funded or in any of our programs. But 6,000 plus is the large community. But if you look at probably about 1,500 to 1,800 startups is where we have actually provided even much higher order support, and that could be funding, that could be market access programs.
Thank you, sir. So while we are talking about the kind of support MeitY Startup Hub provides to various startups, in your view, what kind of impact are you seeing in India's innovation ecosystem as far as these electronics and deep tech startups are concerned?
I think India's innovation ecosystem is really well poised for an amazing leap ahead. Because two things. One is the talent pool that we have in the Indian startup ecosystem is something really fantastic. The fundamentals of the building blocks of the innovation ecosystems are being in place. Not just MeitY, a lot of government organizations and public sector organizations who are funneling this innovation ecosystem. We are well poised. With 175,000 startups in the country today, we have built the width. Now the ecosystem is moving towards building depth, and that is what we are willing to facilitate at this point in time.
Very well, sir. Sir, you mentioned about certain schemes that MSH runs. So if we start with the Samrit scheme, how does that scheme help the emerging startups?
Sure. So when we talk about schemes, the primary objective of these programs or schemes is to understand the life stage of the startup, what we call from ideation to a scale up. At each stage, we have a support mechanism to handhold, to support the startup in their journey. And I in my experience in the last 7-8 years, I've been in the ecosystem. I always believe the first 1,000 days are very important for a startup, which is 3 years approximately, and which means idea to market entry should happen within this 1,000 days, right? And we want to give them all sorts of possible support in this journey. So Samriddh is a program that kind of comes in at the mid stage, where there is the startup who already have a product, who is in the market, and we are now going to accelerate them to the next stage of growth. So Samriddh is an acceleration program. And there are programs earlier than that, and then there are programs after that also. So there, Samriddh is in the mid stage of the in the life stage of the startup, and there we provide almost 6 to 8 months of acceleration support along with funding support, and more importantly, customer connects and investor connects for them to continue their growth journey. That's what Samriddh offers.
Thank you, sir. And sir, then we talk about the Genesis program. How does it help the startups, and at what stage of the startup journey?
Definitely. So Genesis is a very, very important program from our perspective, from a nation building perspective, because Genesis focus is building the entire innovation and the entrepreneurship ecosystem in the Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Today, to a large extent, the innovation and the entrepreneurship journey is driven by the the metros or the mini metros and the Bangalores and the Hyderabad or the Gurgaons of the world. Our endeavor as a vision of MSH is to broad base, or even MeitY as a ministry, is to broad base this innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem beyond these top 8-10 cities. So we are focusing in Genesis in only on Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. So to over 65 centers, or 64 centers to be precise, have been identified across India, and we are nurturing startups right from ideation stage. So Genesis has 4 modules. The first and foremost is an entrepreneur in residence module. It operates essentially for a person, either an individual or a team of students or a early stage startup who are operating in the TRL levels between 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, where they have an idea and they are building a prototype and enabling, and our job is to enable them to build this prototype and test it out, and that is the very early stage of the startup life cycle. So that is an entrepreneur in residence program. After they kind of successfully finish that, then we have the pilot funding program. The pilot funding program again is an opportunity for proven prototypes or proven MVP, minimum viable products of these startups, to be working with the corporates or working with PSUs to solve their problems, because end of the day they need to find customers and they need to solve problems of customers. So the second module in Genesis is what we call the pilot funding program. So essentially here we are willing to support the startups in terms of their cost, in terms of their cost of building this POC for a PSU or for a corporate customer, or even for a government organization, so that there is solution coming out, there is knowledge in or other IP getting created. These are our objectives at this stage. The third module, where we call investment or a funding module, that is where the opportunity is to kind of drive the scale up part, which is very focused on on startups who have the customers. Now they need to accelerate the growth. So that is a third module in Genesis. And last but not the least, we have a deep tech module also, which is very specific for deep tech startups coming out of Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. So in a nutshell, Genesis is going to build a very strong foundation in the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities in the next few years to come.
Wow. So sir, is there any kind of specific eligibility criteria for the startups who want to go about or who want to get support of these schemes from MSH?
Yeah, there are some eligibility criteria. Primarily, first of all, you have to be a startup registered in India, because our endeavor is to support Indian startups. And second, for Genesis, you have to be registered in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, because the focus is to kind of build the innovation and the entrepreneurship mindset in the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. You have to enroll with one of our enabling partner incubators in the country, the 64 centers that I mentioned. There is a certain amount of basic selection criteria, but to be very honest, as long as you have a viable idea that has a potential in the market, we are willing to handhold them through the entire journey.
Very well, sir. So friends, what we are trying to say here is that if your idea is worthy of solving a problem within our country, and you are using technology to solve that problem, that is the basic and the most important need to get the support from the government, to get the support from MeitY Startup Hub, right from your starting till the growth, till you go to the market and even scaling your product and services. So reach out to MSH as soon as this program ends, and please share the link of this program to your friends also who may be wanting to start a startup and have insights from our very CEO from MSH. Sir, while you are talking about tier 2, tier 3 cities, do you feel language is a problem? Because I have spoken with many people, they say, because I don't know English, how can I go for the support, how to fill in the papers, how to register, I don't know. So what kind of support MSH provides to such people?
Fantastic. So actually, we have three key pillars in MSH. The first pillar is actually we are the custodians of deep tech startups in the country today. We want to be the custodians. We want to facilitate deep tech startups. Under that comes electronics manufacturing and deep tech products, and of course deep tech product platforms. That's the first pillar. The second pillar is, as I mentioned, is the broad basing of innovation ecosystem, especially in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. The third pillar, what we are looking at, is relating to the question that you mentioned, is the inclusive tech. Under inclusive tech, we have three sub-pillars. The first one is actually vernacular tech, because we believe that language cannot or should not be the barrier for learning tech. And we have our wonderful division, Bhashini, DIBD, Digital India Bhashini division, working very tirelessly to enable language inclusivity. And today, most of our websites are actually dual language. And today there are, even in our own platform, we have a bot which can talk in 2 languages at this point in time. We are working closely to include more Indian languages, so that a startup founder from any part of the country can actually engage in their language of comfort and get all the information that they really want from the portal. So vernacular tech is a very important pillar, and we are all out to facilitate engagement in any language. You are most welcome to us, write to us in any language. At our end, we will figure it out, and we will respond to you in the best possible way, and in your own language as much as we can. So language never and should not will be a barrier for engaging with MSH or becoming a startup founder. The second sub-pillar of the inclusive tech is what we call assistive tech, because today assistive tech is synonymized with tech for specially able people. But truth is, if you are using a Siri or an Alexa, you are already using assistive tech, right? And assistive tech will be very important given our global population is aging, and geriatric tech. All of this is becoming very, very important. So assistive tech is our second sub-pillar under the inclusive tech. And last but not the least, women in deep tech is something, again, we are very, very particular about. We are wanting to, or we are already in the process of developing programs along with our partners, along with our other divisions within MeitY, to see how women in deep tech can also be a very important focus area for us. So essentially, those 3 pillars is what we are now guiding us for the next few years to come.
Thank you, sir. So my dear friends, inclusivity means that no one should be left behind, and MeitY Startup Hub has really taken care of the 3 segments which actually combine the inclusive culture for any person in our country, which includes the language part, vernacular language part, assistive tech for the people who have special needs, and thirdly, women in deep tech. So if you are worried about registering to the startup or any queries about it, you can write to us, you can write to MSH, and your queries will be answered. So now let's talk about the incubation. What role does incubators play in the innovation ecosystem?
Well, they play a very, very important role. As MeitY Startup Hub, we don't directly work with startups, though we are facilitating some engagements directly now. But mostly our enabling partners are, we call them enabling partners because they enable our agenda. They enable and they are the actual backbone of the entire innovation ecosystem, and they have a very vital role to play. What do they, the entire delivery mechanism today is structured around incubation and accelerators. So they are the ones who are delivering the actual end value creation for startups. So they identify the startups, they give them all the support that is required to these startups, and more importantly, they are the bridge between us and the startup for all practical purposes. Yes, so they play a very, very vital role, and our role is to enable them, our role is to empower them and support them all possible way, especially in terms of infrastructure, especially in terms of operational expenses and capabilities and talent management.
So sir, my next question would have been more detailed around this point only, that how does MSH support these incubators and accelerators in our country?
Sure. So we do three things again with the accelerators and incubators. One is first and foremost is to enroll, kind of onboard them as our partners. When we onboard them on a particular program or a particular scheme, we give them the mandate to nurture the number of startups as per their selection criteria. We give them anywhere between 8 to 10 startups to be nurtured. And for nurturing these startups, for supporting these startups for a specified period of time, we provide them with operational expenses, and we provide and when the startup succeeds, there is a success outcome, based on the funding that we do. A part of that funding, part of that success also is shared with them, so that they are able to build a very sustainable, long-term mechanism to support the startup ecosystem. The second aspect is that is more financial in nature. The second aspect is we provide them with a lot of capacity building programs. We conducted our first Pravaha, which is our incubator accelerator program that was conducted in Goa in the month of February, and we had almost 120 plus incubators and accelerators under one roof for the first time in MeitY, and we had a kind of an engagement workshop for them. And we are also launching Pravaha Ki Pathshala, which is essentially a capacity building program. So every quarter we intend to do one session, 1 day or a 2-day workshop along with our partners, be it India AI, be it STPI, be it any of our MeitY organization, so that we kind of build the capacity, and not just from an infrastructure perspective, but also from a capability perspective.
So sir, you collaborate with the accelerators and the incubators. Do they also involve the MeitY's innovation labs and MeitY's incubation centers? And how do we collaborate with them?
Absolutely. So, some of them are programmatic or program based, some of them are need based. So, our enabling partners are most welcome to use all the MeitY infrastructure in terms of labs. Not just our MeitY has a MeitY NASSCOM Center of Excellence across the country. We have STPI has a fantastic network of Center of Excellences across the country. And all the possible infrastructural support that is available is open for our enabling partners. Some depending upon their specialization, they make use of them.
All right. Now, sir, let's talk about something about going global. So, sure. How MSH helps the startups go global?
Sure. MSH, we kind of decided that we will focus on both sides of the coin. One is, of course, to build the tier 2, tier 3 innovation ecosystem. But it's also important to look at a global perspective, because today startups pretty much across the world are extremely competitive. While we are the third largest startup ecosystem in the country, we really have to solve not just Indian problems but also global problems. So we recently launched a couple of months back. We launched the MSH Global Startup Bridge program, and the fundamentals remain the same. Is to deliver global market access, to deliver investor support across the globe, and more importantly to enable soft landing of Indian startups in the global market. So we were fortunate to take about 10 of our fantastic startups to Belgium, and we are very proud that a couple of startups during the visit itself signed up an investor commitment and a customer commitment. So that is what we want to facilitate. And the second, providing global exposures to startup expos also are very important, because we again took some of our startups to Paris for Vivatech. Giving global exposure helps startups to benchmark their products and services at the global level, and they also have an understanding of where the global trend is moving towards in technology, so that they can kind of be, if not better, at par with the global capabilities.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, our viewers would like to understand that when a startup is trying to go global, what do you think are the challenges they face while going global, and how is the MeitY Startup Hub, helping them to come over those challenges, get over with them?
Fantastic question. I think what we look at when startups go global, the fundamental is we see how strong is their domestic presence, because you should have spent some good time in winning you over in your domestic market. You should have reached a certain level of maturity in your domestic market. That's the first criteria that we look for. The second criteria is that do you have a product market fit in any of these markets that you're really going to go for. If it is in this case, we have opened the doors for Europe, because the first stop was Belgium, the second stop was France, and then we have more in the pipeline. Having said that, is there a need for your product or services? Have you made some sort of a preliminary market research and understanding of which market you are going into? So that's the second area we will look for. And third, do you have the solution which is at least 60-70% ready for those markets? Because you cannot go with anything lower than that, because you can always go and fine tune for the global market, but there should be some sort of a maturity there to go and. So these are things that we look at. And when it comes to the support we provide three aspects again. One is we connect them with a very strong partner there, so that the legal and the compliance issues are taken care, because they need to statutory registration of companies and registration of the legal presence there is supported by us. So we facilitate that through a partner. The second support we provide is some infrastructure, workstations, in terms of giving them a minimum or a presence there in terms of ability to sit there and find some infrastructure support to be based out of that place. And last but not the least, again, corporate connects, customer connects or investor connects, so that they're not left in a vacuum, but we facilitate those first 3, 4, 5 customer meetings, so that there is always a traction that builds eventually from there.
Right. So, sir, MSH does any partnerships with any global corporates also in this regard?
Absolutely. So we have two types of partnerships globally. So we have nodal agencies like MSH in other countries. So we have signed an MOU with an organization, for example, in Belgium, which I spoke about, an organization called Hub.Brussels. So we have an MOU with them. And similarly, we have other organizations that we work with. Then that is one type of partnership we have. The second is to also look at global multinationals who are present in India, and they are able to, facilitate with their global partners. They will give us the opportunity to engage with their global counterparts. So all this is what we are doing.
So, sir, you mentioned about with your experience, such vast kind of experience, and your trips to these places with the startups like Europe and Paris and Belgium. What kind of feedback do you get from the people in the international land about the startups, the deep tech startups, or the electronic startups that are working from India for their people?
I think one thing I have been extremely pleased to is to when you look at today, if you go to any global market, Indian startups are definitely at par with global thought process, and the talent that we have is phenomenal. There may be challenges in terms of research and development, but there also we are catching up. There is a phenomenal support system that is created by the Government of India in terms of the Research and Development Fund, which has been recently announced. So there we are at par and better in some areas. It's just that it's time that Indian entrepreneurs also have a very large focus. Sometimes the domestic market is so large enough that they are happy with what they have in India. But it is important to even focus on global markets, and I'm sure they have already been winning. They will even win better.
थैंक यू सर. सर ने एक बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट कहा यहाँ पे कि हमारे स्टार्टअप्स, हमारी कंपनीज ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स बना रही हैं जो सिर्फ डोमेस्टिक, मतलब इंडिया की मार्केट में ही नहीं, अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड के लोगों को हेल्प कर सकती है. लेकिन हम लोग कई बार ये खुश हो जाते हैं कि हम सिर्फ इंडिया के मार्केट में अच्छा कर रहे हैं, तो अपने प्रोडक्ट को बाहर ले जाने का नहीं सोचते हैं. सो MSH आपकी हेल्प करेगा अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को, अपने सॉल्यूशंस को बाहर ले जाने में. सो आई विल रिक्वेस्ट ऑल द स्टार्टअप्स विच आर डूइंग सो great for the citizens of our country to help out and take this message to their solutions, to their services to the international land also, because as our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister also says that the world is one family, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. So why not our solutions, क्यों ना हमारी solutions बाहर के लोगों की भी मदद करें और हमारे लोगों की भी मदद करें. सब अब क्योंकि हम इतने सारे स्टार्टअप्स के बारे में जैसे बात कर रहे हैं, कोई ऐसा एक स्टार्टअप स्टोरी आपके पास है विच यू कैन प्लीज शेयर विद आवर व्यूअर्स, एनी सक्सेस स्टोरी विच हैज गॉन ग्लोबल थ्रू MSH और एंड इज डूइंग हैज रिसीव्ड वेल फीडबैक?
Sure, I think we have quite a few, but I'll share one of our recent success stories. As I mentioned, one of our drone startups called IG Drones, again a very small town story to a global story today. From Bhubaneswar or outskirts of Bhubaneswar, the startup founder set up a drone company. Today, that company is now signed up an MOU with an investor in Belgium. And they are also, have been supporting the Indian Defence Forces, and they have been growing phenomenally. And they are a MeitY Startup Hub supported startup right from the beginning through our Samrit program and other TIDE program. They have actually benefited from the early stages of funding. And we are very proud. There are other startups in that space, be it in health tech, be it in medical devices. There are startups who have been able to build global quality products. And that is important. I think what is important to succeed in the global market is also benchmark your standards of quality at a global level. Sometimes we are happy with what we have in the Indian context, but to compete in the global market, we have to set our standards very high, because that's what will win us the global competition. So we have quite a few. IG Drones is just one of them.
Very well, sir. Thank you. Sir, I would like to inform you that as we are moving ahead with our conversation, more and more people are joining our YouTube chat. And I thank you all viewers for taking out time and joining us in the show and making this show a success. I request all of you to keep writing your questions the way you are doing in the YouTube chat from whatever you are hearing from Mr. CEO, or whatever you have any queries from startup related, innovation related, incubator related, accelerators related. We are here to answer all your queries. I will also like to remind you that from your questions, I will be choosing the Digital India Question Ninjas, whose name I announce at the end of the program, and they are rewarded by our organization. So please do write your questions in the YouTube chat, and maybe you are the next Digital India Question Ninja. I also request you that since this is our 27th episode, and there must be so many topics that you must be listening to across channels, through media, through newspapers, everywhere else. If you have any topic in your mind that you want us to cover in our next episodes or episodes to come, please share those ideas with us. If you have any feedback about this episode, please share that with us. We will be more than happy listening to you, and you can write to us on our email ID also, which is askourexperts.negd@digitalindia.gov.in. इस ईमेल आईडी पर आप हम अपने टॉपिक्स, अपने आइडियाज, अपने फीडबैक, अपने क्वेश्चंस, आपका जो मन करता है डिजिटल इंडिया से पूछने के लिए आप इस पे लिख सकते हैं, एंड वी विल बी हैप्पी टू आंसर योर क्वेरीज. So now is the time to start taking the viewer questions also.
Sure.
An interesting question has come from one of our students from Lucknow. His name is Pratik. He is asking, what is the difference between an accelerator and an incubator?
Pratik, I think it's a very wonderful question. Incubator is essentially an organization. The term incubator is comes from the medical devices incubation. When a child is born premature, you keep them in an incubator, right? A small. So incubator essentially operates at a very early stage, idea to a TRL level 6 or 7, where they are MVP ready. They from an idea to a prototype to an MVP, and then they get you into the market, right? That is the function of an incubator. They support you towards the first 24 months to 36 months kind of a journey. Accelerator is an organization or the role of accelerator is to kind of shift you from one orbit to another. That is what we call shifting orbits, right? Their primary purpose is to ensure that you get large customers, build you your capabilities in building an organization or a small company that will build itself, and last but not the least, get you follow-on funding, get you to international scale, or basically very early stage incubation support. And acceleration is shifting gears and shifting orbit to put you in a very different league of growth path. That is the role of an accelerator, and that's what essentially accelerators should be doing. And there are two different stages in the life stage of a startup.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for explaining that in detail. So next question has come from Sikha. She's asking that recently MSH started a global startup bridge program. How can we as startups be a part of the same, and what are the next planned destinations for the programs?
Thank you, Sikha. Glad you noticed our Global Startup Bridge program. Yes, we the current format at which we are working, our first priority is to facilitate support for our current METI supported startups, either under the TIDE scheme or the Samrit scheme. So you can always enroll yourself into one of these programs, Samrit or Genesis in the near future, and you will be eligible for joining us in any of our Global Startup Bridge programs. The second part of your question is a little tricky. While we are looking at other destinations, we have opened the gates to Europe. So it could be Denmark, it could be Germany, could be on the anvil. So that's where we are heading to.
Thank you, sir. There's a question from Rohit. He is asking, what are some best practices you have observed in top performing incubators that others can learn from? Fantastic
question again, Rohit. I think the most important aspect of an incubator, and to all my friends who are watching from the incubation and the acceleration community, I think the primary purpose that we are here is to facilitate our startups' growth, right? I think that is our North Star and guiding light. So we should, most good incubators have put startup first policy, or rather have a very strong startup first. The startup growth is actually your proof of your good work. So our objective as an incubator or an accelerator should be building fundamentally strong companies and nothing else, right? So a lot of time incubators or accelerators organize a lot of investor, which is important, but if you don't have fundamentally strong companies, no matter how many investors we bring, they are not going to put money into those companies. So the first and foremost objective is to build a very strong, fundamentally strong company, and that means product focus, team focus, customer focus.
Very great tips, thank you so much. So next question comes from Aman. He is asking, how can corporate PSUs collaborate with MSH to support startups?
Great question again. I mean, I'm really happy with the kind of question. So, Aman, we are, as a part of the second aspect, I mean, market access that we really want to do, we are very keen on partnering with corporates. We recently been signing a lot of our letter of collaboration with corporates to facilitate open innovation and corporate innovation programs. As I keep saying in multiple occasions that startups have two large customer groups. First, one of them is corporate and one of them is, second one is government. On the government side, there is a lot of initiatives that are being done, but corporates are one of the large customer groups. So we are very keen to partner in creating innovation capability, innovation mindset in the corporates. We want to run open challenges with the corporates. We wish to run the POC to purchase order program. So a lot of these opportunities are going to be our focus areas, and we are already began our work in this journey.
Thank you, sir. One question is from Murugan. He is asking that what's your vision for the Indian startup ecosystem in 2047, and how does MSH plan to be a catalyst in achieving that?
Well, I think the vision for a Viksit Bharat that we are all aiming towards, in fact, that is our journey towards 2047. I think the vision is very, very clear. India will lead the technology narrative. Indian startups will set global standards and drive the global technology agenda with a balance of technology and the value systems that we offer as a nation to the world, right? I think it's very important to keep that balance, and that is where Indian tech talent has already proven its mettle in the global market, and it is time Indian tech products to go and deliver in the global market. I think my vision is to be a very small but a very effective contributor to this whole vision of building global quality tech products coming out of India for the world or the global market.
Right, sir. Sir, Bipin Suroshi is asking that I would like to understand how, as a technology tool supplier, we could engage with MSH to get connected with relevant startups.
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
Yes, I would like to understand how, as a technology tool supplier, we could engage with MSH to get connected with relevant startups.
Sure. Bipin, what we could do is, so one of the things that we are, we have a resource platform on our portal. Resource platform ranges from a co-working space to a lab or a prototyping lab. It could be a wide range of resources that are being facilitated by us to the startup pool that we have. So you could enroll with us as a service provider, as a service partner who can then offer your services to the startups. And we have recently signed up some of, again, letter of collaboration with large banks to provide financial, not just funding support, but also financial advisory, because that's also very important. So you are most welcome to enroll as a resource partner for us.
Thank you, sir. So there's a question from Kamal. He's asking that how does MSH work with the university incubators to support startups? Do MSH does?
Oh yes, absolutely. In fact, for out of the 64 Genesis centers, probably about 50 plus would be based out of either universities or academic institutions. Every academic institution today is focusing on innovation and entrepreneurship. So a significant chunk, if I can say, almost 80+% of our incubator accelerators are actually attached to either a large or a mid-size university or a technical institution. It could. So we work very closely with academia. We in fact, each of our products are designed that when the academia role ends, our schemes start. So that is the kind of synergies that we have built with our academic partners.
Great, sir. Suman is asking about Pravah Ki Pathshala scheme, that how can one become a mentor under Pravah Ki Pathshala?
Pravah Ki Pathshala is more for the incubators and accelerators for the capacity building program. For the mentorship, you can always there is you can log into our MSH portal, which is msh.meti.gov.in, and you can get yourself registered as a mentor, which is a different platform. Different program.
Thank you, sir. My dear friends, because of the paucity of time, let's take last two questions with sir. So one has come about that can an early stage startup access support in product testing or patent filing via MSH?
Definitely. One of these support services that we provide through the incubation acceleration phase is actually through the is also patent filing, and I'm happy to share there is also an IPR division within MeitY who facilitate the patent filing and support. So you can reach out to us and then we will enable. And it doesn't matter whether you're an early stage or a mature or a growth stage startup. At all stages, we are here to facilitate IP related support system.
Thank you, sir. So last but not the least, what's your message for the students and the young founders watching our show today?
That's a tough one.
About the startup journey,
yeah.
Yes.
So the primary suggestion or recommendation I've been giving young innovators and entrepreneurs is one that look for a very effective or a very important problem to solve, or a problem to be solved. You need to solve a real problem. Second is it takes time to build organization, company, and it takes you need to have a lot of resilience and a lot of patience to build fundamentally good companies. And last but not the least, build to grow and not build to exit. So that is something which I have been suggesting, because when you build an organization, you need to take it to a certain scale before you really look for exiting it or whatever. So that's my suggestion: build to grow.
That's a great tip, sir. Thank you. So build to grow, not to exit. With this, we come to the end of our 27th episode, which was on a very interesting topic, that is MeitY Startup Hub. A big thanks to our expert for answering all the questions in detail, and we have learned a lot during this program, sir. I thank from the bottom of my heart to our viewers who have taken out time, joined us in the program, and asked such wonderful questions that we have also come to know a lot about this wonderful initiative, which is MeitY Startup Hub. Now is the time to announce the Digital India Question Ninjas. Kindly note the names. It's Prateek, Rohit, Aman, and Bipin Suroshi. I congratulate all four of you for becoming the Digital India Question Ninjas. I request you to kindly share your details that you asked this question during the show, and this is your name, this is your address, on our official email ID, which is askourexperts.negd@digitalindia.gov.in. That email ID is coming at the bottom of your screen also, so kindly note down the right spellings. और जैसा कि मैंने पहले भी कहा था, अगर कोई एक ऐसा विषय है जिसके बारे में आप अगली बारी हमसे सुनना चाहते हैं, आप चाहते हैं कि हम एक्सपर्ट्स को बुलाएं उस विषय के लिए, सो कृपया हमें उस विषय के बारे में लिखिए, या आपका कोई फीडबैक है प्रोग्राम के बारे में तो प्लीज़ उस फीडबैक को हमारे साथ शेयर करिए. हमें बहुत हेल्प मिलेगी आप तक सही मैसेजेस ले जाने की. If you have missed out on any information, then this program will be always present on this specific link जहाँ पे आप अभी इसको देख रहे हैं. You can share this link with your friends, family, whoever want to learn more about the startup innovation in our country, and at any time of the day. If you want to learn about more Digital India initiatives, then you can reach out on our websites, which is digitalindia.gov.in and negd.gov.in. यही वेबसाइट्स पे जाके आपको वेरियस डिजिटल इंडिया इनिशिएटिव्स के बारे में क्रॉस द मिनिस्ट्रीज वाले प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में जाके मिलेगा. और अगर उनको पढ़ के आपको कोई आइडिया आता है तो वो ज़रूर हमारे साथ शेयर करें. मेटी स्टार्टअप हब स्पेसिफिकली उसके बारे में आप जानने के लिए यू कैन गो टू देयर वेबसाइट msh.meti.gov.in. And if you want to write directly to MSH for your any particular queries, you can write to them at meti-sthub@gov.in. The email ID is coming at your screen also, so kindly note down the spellings. Or you can call them at 011-2430-1244. I repeat, 011-2430-1244. So you can take up your queries regarding MSH directly to them, either on the email ID or on the call. I am Shipra Abraham, your host, and I thank you all for joining us today. We will be back next time with a fresh topic with fresh faces. Till then, namaskar.